Thanks for tuning into this episode of FinTech Focus TV, powered by Harrington Starr, the global leaders in financial technology recruitment. Head over to the Harrington Starr website where you'll be able to find all the latest jobs in financial technology across the globe. You'll also be able to download the latest issue of the Financial Technologist magazine, including the Top 1% Workplace Awards. Finally, if you're looking to grow your team, please get in touch. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to our episode of FinTech Focus TV, live here at FinTech Connect at the Excel Centre. And it is an absolute pleasure here to introduce you to David Butcher. David, how are you?
Hi, good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Listen, absolutely great to be here. Great to have you come on and chat to us. London partners, as I was saying before, we've worked with in the past. I really like the work you're doing. I think you do some fantastic things for a really important part of the ecosystem. So we're going to go into that a little bit more. We're going to be talking about London itself as a fintech place. And one of my favourite worlds, which is the whole scale-up piece, and I know you guys do some fantastic work in there, both here and abroad, etc. So we're going to talk about a little bit about that as well. So,
perfect.
Lots to get into in a short amount of time.
Yep.
So I'm going to kick it over to you to start off with and tell us about yourself and the business.
Brilliant. Thanks for having me. So I'm David. I head up FinTech Cyber for London and Partners. We are essentially the business growth and destination agency for London. And I work within the Grow London team, which is basically the vehicle that we use to support high growth startups and scale-ups in fast growth tech sectors. FinTech probably being the most prominent. So whether you're a London-based FinTech who are looking to internationalise, or if you're an international business that are looking at London and the opportunities that are here, we can support. And that's what we do.
And this is a sort of perfect zone for you here, isn't it? A FinTech Connect today with 2,500 people due over the next 2 days. Some really exciting businesses. There's various stages and various different parts with founders, workshops, startups, scale-ups, everything in between. All the way through to the most established banks. So it's got to be a perfect sort of place for you to be networking today, right?
Absolutely. It's brilliant to be here. We kind of sit at the intersection of all of that. So we work with global corporates, we work with banks, we work with some of the regulators and policymakers, and obviously we work with the startups and scale-ups. So yeah, fantastic to be here. And just network with some of the guys that are here. We've actually got 7 of our companies that are part of our Grow London Global Accelerator program pitching over the next couple of days. So yeah, really excited to see.
So there to be cheerleading all the way through.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about this ecosystem at the moment, and London in particular as a hub, I'm a passionate believer in the London fintech scene. I've been in it for the last sort of 24 years or so. I'm excited about where it sits as a sort of fintech capital. Obviously, we've had challenges to that with Brexit recently. I've seen some really encouraging press actually over the last 2 days about where it goes and the durability of the sector over the last couple of years. I know you're excited. I know the team's excited about where it goes. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect to see from London, where it sits, what's happening, what's exciting about it.
Yeah, it is really exciting. We've just run a session actually earlier this morning with our MD for Grow London, talking about kind of how how we're positioning FinTech at the centre of kind of London's growth, and it really is that. Our mission really at London Partners is to create economic growth that's resilient, sustainable and inclusive. And I can't think of a sector that kind of personifies those pillars more than any other. I mean, if you look at the last 18 months, we've seen the resilience of UK FinTech. It's been a challenging time. It's been difficult to raise capital, but you've seen that London have taken the lion's share of European investment over the last 18 months, and that's hopefully set to continue. So really resilient sector, but also on those other pillars, so sustainability. You're seeing a lot of crossover between kind of green finance, sustainable finance, and some of the companies we work with are doing amazing things in that. The carbon credit and decarbonisation space, and then inclusivity as well. It's another big pillar of ours, and the work that some of these companies are doing on financial inclusion and helping the kind of underbanked and underserved communities is fabulous. So, yeah, I think
it's really embraced that, hasn't it? I think that the FinTech community, London in particular. And I think that's why, if you look at all the rhetoric that comes out of the Prime Minister at the moment, it's about recognising the opportunity within the space and utilising it as a sort of catalyst for future growth. I know it's you mentioned it before and alluded to that there's sort of opportunities both here domestically for companies coming into London, But you guys also sort of there and help people internationalise and scale out as well.
We do.
Tell us a little bit about how that works.
Yes, there's lots of support. So London partners themselves run a couple of programs that specifically support those things. So we run an accelerator called Grow London Global for London-based scale-ups. We take 300 companies on every year. That's not just fintech, but across various high-growth sectors, with fintech being as a major strength. And we do exactly that. We take them to on trade missions. So the team were out last week in Singapore and Australia. A couple of weeks before that, we're in North America. I think we've run 8 trade missions in the last 8 weeks, which has just been insane but fantastic. And then, as you say, we do the opposite. We've got people in 15 cities across the globe that try and scope out those real high growth businesses, that bring them to London, and then hopefully what they'll do is then create jobs and start hiring people here in London as well. So we're kind of putting in that creativity and that innovation from all over the world.
And I think traditionally we've been very good at that. And I've been speaking to people on this show recently who are very, very passionate about having had international businesses, about bringing them to London and recognising that as a scale. I was speaking to someone out in Dubai this week who was sort of passionate about the UK being on the roadmap for it. Singapore, sorry, it was about being on the roadmap for it. And I think that's a really exciting thing to see, that robustness, and to see people doing that, and to see actually a strength which I think the government have had for the last 10, 15 years has been about creating the regulatory environment for fintechs to thrive.
Yes.
I can see that being a sort of priority as well, that continues on from that too. So you mentioned being at the sort of intersection of a lot of interesting people and helping people to scale, helping people get that investment. You mentioned about the investment climate over the last year being a lot more challenging than the sort of free money that was on offer in 21, 22, etc. Tell me a little bit about what you're expecting to see in 2024 and whether people should get excited about that.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, I would say that, but for sure. I mean, look, it has been a challenging time over the last 18 months. As you say, it's been difficult to kind of raise those big amounts of capital. Having said that, we've seen some really resilient companies coming out of London. Couple that are on our program, just to mention, like Hyperjar raised 24 million Series A this year, Robin AI a 10 million Series A. So those kind of big chunky investments are still there, but what we've kind of seen is on the whole a bit of a decline in those sort of big bits of investment and lots of smaller investments coming in, which is great. And I think there's a lot of dry powder out there that we'll see kind of deployed next year, which we're really looking forward to seeing. So very optimistic with for the next year.
I've had a couple of VCs on the show recently, which will be launching over the next sort of month or so, and actually they're very bullish about what's happening. And you mentioned dry powder there, but you also mentioned the sort of an excitement they have about generational opportunities happening within financial technology at the moment, driven through tech, such as AI, such as the advances we're seeing in data, driven by digital assets, etc., and beyond. And they're all sort of very excited about where it goes and where it heads and going from there. So tell me, let's switch back to FinTech Connect. If you're looking at some of the key things that you're excited about at the moment, we're hearing about over the next couple of days, tell us what you expect to see from there.
Yeah, I mean, look, AI is obviously a bit of a buzzword across the whole of tech and has been for the last sort of couple of years, but I genuinely
think...
Biggest
stage out there today.
Exactly, yeah, I was just been from a talk there just now. And there's just some amazing opportunities around that AI space. And as you say, if we can get the regulation right, and if we can move quickly enough to kind of keep pace with the technological advancements, and I think there's a real success story here for the UK, and particularly in some subsectors, wealth tech, cybersecurity, some really incredible things that can happen with AI. And you mentioned digital assets there and sort of crypto. I'm really excited to see what happens in that space as well. We've seen some stamps of approval from the likes of A16Z setting up their first office outside of the US in London this year.
Anderson Horowitz,
Anderson Horowitz, yeah. They're opening a crypto school that's going to be launching next year. So I think those signs that actually regulation in the UK is probably got it about right. Not there yet, and there's a bit of a way to go, but that balance between kind of consumer protection and boosting innovation, hopefully we're getting that right, and we should see the fruits of that come through next year.
Well, let's hope that days like today allow that to happen as well. So Dave, look, there are companies out there who are watching this saying that they're looking to scale either from London and beyond, or looking to come into London and seeing all the joys and want to find out a little bit more about how London and partners can help facilitate that process, what's the best way of them getting in touch with you?
LinkedIn, probably the easiest way, and then I can connect them on from there. As I say, we've got a team that focus on London-based companies that I can put them in touch with, can look at those trade missions and bring them out to market. And then we've got companies in market who can do the opposite and help them kind of figure out where to navigate London. We've got lots of events on the horizon for next year, lots of collaborations with some of the other big the trade bodies and associations, so FinTech Alliance, Innovate Finance, FinTech Fringe. We work with all of those guys. But we run our own events as well. We're running a FinTech club event that we run pretty regularly in London, various dinners and all sorts to kind of get people involved.
I think that's the beautiful thing about this space is there's so much collaboration, isn't there? There's so much work where people are very happy and keen to sort of meet other people, to help each other, to drive the space forward. And I think it's movements like yours that are very much at the core of that. So it's great to see.
Thank you. I mean, there's just a huge support network for any business that are looking at London, either from scaling from here or scaling into London. There's just a huge amount of support and advice and mentorship and expertise.
Long may it continue.
Yeah.
David, absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thanks for coming.
Really
on.
nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon on the next episode of FinTech Focus TV. Thanks a lot.